Justin Gaethje has officially become the UFC's most incredible project, transformational fighter, whatever you want to say, I think, of all time. I went there, of all time, and here's exactly why. I'm going to describe a few different things throughout this video that I just think we need to recognize. And that's the fact that, first of all, when you lose to somebody and you get finished by them, like Poirier, Gaethje, the first time that they fought, it was a few fights into Gaethje's career in the UFC. Poirier was able to get the job done in the war. You know, Gaethje said in his post-fight interview that it's one of those things where in this sport, it's nice how you're able to get redemption. And sometimes you don't always get that shot. You know, things go on, like you look at Masvidal Diaz, you know, you don't always get that second chance. You don't always get that get back. Justin Gaethje took full advantage of that to the max and has completely evolved into one of the best all-around fighters in the UFC in mixed martial arts. And I am beyond impressed with what I saw last night. I'm beyond impressed with, you know, his staff, with Trevor Whitman. There's no mystery that this guy and Gaethje are very close. Everyone keeps saying Elevation Fight Team. It's Trevor Whitman. Gaethje goes to Elevation Fight Team to get some sparring in, but he does a lot of the individual training at Onyx, you know, sports facility, and they, you know, where Gaethje and Poirier have their own little spot, and that's where they improve. And I credit Trevor Whitman, and I credit Justin Gaethje, because he's the guy that goes out there and gets the job done. Justin Gaethje has turned out to be not only just a sensational highlight reel fighter, but a technical fighter that young fighters are going to start watching and taking things from. Now, a few years ago, if we sat here and said that that was going to be the case, we'd be lying. We'd be lying to ourselves, because Justin was kind of just, he walked forward like a zombie, relied on that high guard, high shell. He would just bite down, eat a shot, fire a shot back, eat a few shots just to land a hard leg kick like he did against Poirier in the first fight. This is just a different Justin Gaethje. He's technical. He's patient. He's fighting behind a jab. The way he was throwing those switch kicks to the lead leg of Poirier, you could tell Poirier was getting frustrated. And ultimately, watching some of the highlights again and watching a few things back, that is ultimately what led to the downfall of Dustin Poirier in this fight. Was he got impatient and Gaethje had him, I guess you could say, frustrated. He was messing with him. He was outclassing Poirier in every aspect. You know, Poirier was looking good with the boxing, but Gaethje was throwing, you know, when you watch the first fight, you know, Dustin, I think, downplayed Gaethje. I think that Dustin thought that he was going to be able to pressure and move forward on Gaethje and bait out the old Gaethje. Land a shot and get Justin to sit down and just start, you know, brawling. And we saw that Dustin landed a shot. Gaethje just got on his bike and kept moving. And I think Dustin was like, oh, okay, this is a different guy here. I expected him to bite down and just start winging. And I think part of the game plan between Poirier and his camp was, let's get in Justin's face. Let's push the pace. Let's put our foot on the gas, start hitting him and draw him into that dogfight. And that's where Poirier can thrive. Gaethje didn't allow that to happen. He didn't allow Poirier to make it his fight. He didn't allow Poirier to take Gaethje out of his element and bring it into this barn burner brawl that I think Poirier thought was going to happen. This wasn't a war. This wasn't a battle. You know, Poirier landed a good left hand in the first round that cut, you know, Gaethje above the eye, and I was like, crap, here we go. This is the first fight all over again. That's not what happened, or that is what happened, but this was not a war. This was not a battle. This was a technical masterclass by Justin Gaethje that he put on Dustin Poirier. Poirier said this was the easiest weight cut of his career. He looked like he was in phenomenal shape. He was moving well. He was pushing forward. Justin was he was moving so well. His head movement, he'd throw a cross to the body, step through, roll underneath, throw a hook upstairs, he'd fire off, move. I was so impressed with Justin because I had said in several different videos leading up, yes, I did pick Dustin Poirier, but I said if Justin Gaethje was able to be patient, was able to be tactical, that he would win this fight. And he did that. He did that at the highest level. This was a masterpiece by Justin Gaethje. Take the head kick out of it. I know that it's hard to do that because the way he set that up was beautiful, which I'm sure that they took some inspiration from Leon Edwards, having to study Edwards, because Usman, their training Gaethje and Usman are training partners, and Trevor Whitman coaches them. So they broke down that sequence many times. And they noticed that Poirier likes to roll with that guard and drop that hand. They came right over the top of it with that head kick. Dustin Poirier ultimately got frustrated. He got frustrated not because he was getting outboxed per se by Gaethje. I'm not going to go there. I think Poirier was landing some good things. He was patient. He was sliding out of the way. He was doing Dustin Poirier-like things. I think people are missing the detail of Dustin thought that this was going to be a war. He thought that he was going to be biting down, that he was going to be hurt. Justin was going to be hurt. They were both going to be all wobbly legs and duking it out to see who was going to be able to survive longer and burn longer and just be able to pull out of here in this dogfight and get the job done. And Justin Gaethje said, nah, dude, that's not my style in this fight. I have no problem backing up and scooting and moving around and stinging you and moving and rolling forward. And when you push forward too much, I'm going to throw a quick kick to the leg. And you could see some of the reactions of Dustin Poirier when some of those kicks were landing. It almost brought flashbacks because Gaethje in the first fight was landing a lot of inside leg kicks with his back leg, which Poirier had said, I've gotten better at checking kicks. So you don't want to just start blasting from the back leg because that's going to be an easy natural check for Poirier being a southpaw. He did have that lead leg turned in a little bit more, which I predicted in some of my videos, that Poirier was going to be more keen to that inside leg kick. But Gaethje said, no problem, man. I got another thing coming. I'm going to throw a switch kick to that outside leg, and my God, was it fast. After he threw the first one against Fiziev, you got to see, I don't know what it is with Gaethje, man. He is just a sensational athlete. He's not this move-around flashy guy like, Sean O'Malley or Adesanya or something. But, to be able to do backflips, you got to be a crazy athlete to do that. But the fighter that this guy's evolved into is a guy that people need to start taking notes on how to be a little bit more like this guy. He's really just, it's sensational, the transformation that we've seen from Justin Gaethje. And now there's rumors circulating that Conor McGregor wants to fight him, or that's not rumors, but McGregor said on Twitter he wants to fight Gaethje for the BMF belt. Justin Gaethje destroys Conor McGregor. This Justin Gaethje that we're seeing right now is a problem, dude. I'd love to see him get a shot at Islam or Oliveira, and again, that brings in the different element of the grappling, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, all those things. I understand that, but Gaethje's just not biting down and throwing caution to the wind anymore. Gaethje outstruck Rafael Fiziev, one of the best Muay Thai credential guys we've seen come into MMA. He beat him, caused a lot of damage. What he did to Poirier was so impressive. The head kick, the way he set it up. He's throwing head kicks now. He's throwing body kicks. He's mixing up the weapons, giving you a lot to think about. He kept throwing that little outside leg kick to Poirier. He got him frustrated. Poirier was like, here we go again. I'm getting my legs battered. Then boom, he threw it in the first round. And it got blocked. And then I think that Poirier got a little overconfident in his defense. And then that shot came over the top, through that 1-2, the head kick came right behind it, and boom, that's all she wrote. Justin Gaethje has turned himself into one of the best fighters in MMA, man. I don't think I'm stretching. He's evolved. He's not the guy that fought, a few years ago. He's definitely not the guy the first time they fought. My question was, I knew that Justin Gaethje had evolved. My question was he going to be able to resist getting into that dogfight? And he was. And he was able to do that. And he was able to stay away from that where Poirier was going to be able to probably win that battle. I think that was Poirier's game plan, was to pull out the dog of Gaethje and make him fight fire with fire and bring him into that brawl where Poirier thinks that he can outlast Gaethje, and then it just becomes a 50-50 fight. I thought Poirier would be able to play Matador and kind of pick at Gaethje and maybe, pick him apart and win. Gaethje's just a different fighter, man. He's just a different fighter. We got to give him his credit. We got to give him his due. I'm beyond impressed with Justin Gaethje. I'd like to see him fight McGregor next. I think that's an exciting fight. I don't think McGregor deserves to fight for the BMF belt next, but What do you all think? What did you all think of Justin Gaethje's performance? I think that this is his best performance to date. I think it's his best performance to date. And not only that, he knocked off Rafael Fiziev, and then he turns around and does this to Dustin Poirier to become the BMF champ. What do you all think? Like, subscribe. I appreciate you all. See you in the next one.